right, we're gonna go ahead and get started. So thank you everybody for being here today. I am Jen Lafine from Jen Lafine Coaching, and today we're going to be talking about journaling your way to simple success. And I've been using this journaling practice that I'm going to teach you today for about 2 months now, and I am just amazed at the results it's bringing me, and also how much easier it's making my life. So I'm super excited to share it with you today. For those of you who don't know me, because we do have a few visitors for the very first time, my name is Jen Lafine. I'm a personal coach for high achieving women who want to show up for themselves as well as they do for others and not feel guilty about it. So I am also a certified professional coach. I'm a master teacher, and I am an Ink Joy Gel fanatic. And I will show you my Ink Joy Gel collection here in just a few minutes. But if you are someone who loves color and loves gel pens, I highly recommend the Papermate Ink Joy Gel, which is just makes me so happy when I'm working in my journal. So I want to just start out by telling you a little bit about where we're going today. I'm going to start with a basic overview of journaling, just so that we're all on the same page as to what I mean when I'm talking about journaling, because whether you are an active journaler or not, I want to make sure that we're all talking about the same thing. Then I'm going to share with you a few journaling rules, and I will share also about my morning journaling routine, and then we are going to practice together. And at the end, I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. And if you have a question that comes up, don't save it for the end, put it in the chat right away. That way we don't forget them and we make sure we have time for them. Also, any aha moments that you have today, I would love if you would put those in the chat too. That's a great way for everybody here to just kind of share their learning and just to see like how communal the learning process is, because we can all learn from each other as well. So what is journaling in its basic form? And this is not an official definition. This is what I consider journaling. It is taking thoughts from your head and putting them down on paper. Now, I like to clarify that as my definition of journaling, because back when we went to school, journaling may have looked a little different. It may look like a teacher gave you a journaling prompt or a topic that you had to write about, and then you had to answer a certain amount of sentences, and you had to spell everything perfectly, and it all needed to look nice. And then, heaven forbid, you even might have gotten a grade on your journal. It's not the kind of journaling I'm talking today. I'm talking about very stream of conscious writing, where you take your thoughts, basically whatever's going on in your head, and we're going to put them down on paper. Okay. And so remember, you are a grown-up now, and those rules that your third grade teacher had for you about journaling do not apply to you. And I do speak from experience, because I used to teach fourth grade. And I'm sad to admit that, yes, I did assign journaling prompts, and yes, I did grade journals. So like Maya Angelou says, when you know better, you do better. And so now my goal is to help you unlearn any unhealthy journaling habits you may have picked up along the way, and learn to see journaling as just a wonderful self-care activity. So let's get started. Now, I am a big stickler about teaching people about journaling by hand. There are a lot of electronic sources available where we can journal electronically. My preference is journaling by hand, and I'm going to explain to you why. And it is scientifically backed up. So scientists have found that when we journal by hand, because writing takes way longer than typing, it actually allows our brain to slow down. And if you think about it, in our lives today, how our brains are just bam, 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 like they're going from one topic to the next. When you sit down with a pen and your notebook and you journal by hand, you are slowing your brain down, and your brain appreciates that. There are also many tactile benefits to journaling by hand. Scientists have found that just the act of moving your hand across the paper and having that sensory has been very beneficial, and they see it almost as a form of self-care, the forming of the letters, the tracing, the intention that it takes to write the letters. There's so many benefits of that. They've found it to be a great stress reliever. They've also found that because you slow your brain down when you journal by hand, you think much deeper. If you think about that, that makes perfect sense, because when we are writing slower, our brain is moving slower, which means that our brain actually has time to breathe, and it will give you ideas and thoughts that you may never ever have realized you were thinking because you were so busy typing them into your keyboard. Writing by hand will reveal thoughts to you that were hidden deep, deep, deep in your consciousness. And it's very surprising. And in my opinion, it is also one of the coolest parts of journaling, because there's a saying, and of course, right now, I'm not going to remember who said it, but it's, I don't know what I think until I read what I write. And that is so, so true. So journaling by hand is definitely a benefit of that. Also, they have found that journaling by hand improves your memory, just because you're not like flying, your fingers aren't flying, 120 words a minute. You are able to think deeper, and that also improves your memory. So what are the journaling rules? And I use the word rules in quotation marks because I want you to understand that these are not the rules that you have to follow. These are guidelines, suggestions, anything that might help you have a successful journaling experience. So the first thing that I always teach my clients is that you decide the format of your journaling. This could be, you could journal in sentences, you could do like bullet points, create a list, doodle, write in different colored pens. You can write in a notebook, you can skip lines. Maybe you have a notebook that doesn't have lines. There are lots and lots of options. My personal favorite are the dot grid journals that just have the dots, because it really gives me a lot of flexibility to be able to write sentences, but also to do like drawings or whatever if I want to do that. The next thing that I teach is do not judge what comes out. It's really important that you don't censor yourself when you're journaling by letting that inner judge come out and tell you what you're writing is wrong or stupid, or, oh my goodness, what if someone finds this and reads this? It's going to be so embarrassing. Try not to judge what comes out. If you can get yourself in the mindset that, again, you're just taking the words and thoughts from your head and putting them down on your paper, it will be much easier for you. You're just kind of like dictating, right? Another guideline is that your handwriting, spelling, neatness do not count. So don't worry, nobody's grading you. Another suggestion is to keep writing. And what I mean by that is when you think that you don't have anything else to say, or you're kind of stuck and you don't know how to respond, just keep repeating the last line that you wrote. That actually will open up that gateway that's blocking you to get to that deeper thinking. And if you've been following along with the workshop so far, you know all about the primal brain wanting to keep you safe and lazy and alive. And one of the things it does is it tries to shut down your thinking from going deeper into that subconscious when you're writing by hand. And then again, just a reminder, ignore your inner critic because it will get super loud on you. People have asked me about, because I did mention it, about they don't enjoy journaling because they're afraid that somebody could find their journal and read it. And so I do have a few suggestions for that, if that is something that you are concerned about. One of the suggestions is that you take whatever notebook it is you're going to be using for your journal, and you start like on page 4 instead of page 1. And the reason being is when they pick up, if someone was to find your journal and pick it up, they're going to open it up. And if the first few pages are blank, they probably aren't going to keep going looking for the actual writing. They'll be like, oh, there's nothing in here. That's one good way. Another good way is to write a note to the snoop and say, you know, this is my journal. This is my deep thoughts. Please do not read it. I'm asking for your respect to not do that. And a lot of times that is enough to deter it. Now, if you have someone who's like, oh, good, let's settle in and read, this is going to be really juicy. If you have someone around you that is absolutely a threat to reading your journal, remember, you've got lots of places you can hide your journal, right? And if nothing else, keep it with you. Put it in your car when you go to work. Hide it at the bottom of a drawer. Lots and lots of options. Please don't let that fear of someone else reading your writing be something that keeps you from journaling. I have a journal that I've used for something called morning pages, which is just stream of consciousness journaling. And there's some very raw writing in that journal. When I finished the journal, I didn't want anybody to find it. And I knew I wasn't going to go back and reread it. It was just something I was using to be able to get my thoughts out of my head. And so I actually burned it. I threw it in the campfire and burned it. So I don't have to worry about anyone ever finding it. So that's an option for you too. So what does my morning journaling routine look like? It is the same routine. Like I said, I've been doing this for 2 months now. I use the same routine every morning. And I'm doing it this way because I wanted to see what happened. So it consists of 5 different parts. It takes me about 15 minutes every morning to go through this routine. So I'm going to just give you the overview here, and then we're going to work through this together. And then just so you know, I do have a worksheet I will be sending out with the recording, and that worksheet will walk you through each of these steps as well. So you don't have to worry about taking notes or anything. So the first thing that I do in my journaling routine, first thing I do is I list my goals. And just bam, 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 bam. Now, when I list my goals, I also put a date on there of the day that is my target date for that goal being actualized. That's really important because you don't want to leave open-ended goals. You want your goals to be time bound. The next thing I list, and this is really important, is I list my whys. Why do these goals, or goal, if you just want to focus on one, why does this goal matter to me? And I just kind of list with my reasons. Number 3, the third thing I do is I list the good thoughts I want to think as I'm bringing these goals to life. And some people know those by affirmations. The 4th thing I list are feelings I want to feel as I do this work. And then finally, and this is really important, I close my eyes and I visualize in my mind how this goal is going to come to reality. And then I write down the actions I will take, what is going to happen that I see in my mind, and I take that and I put that down on paper. This is a really important step. And I will also tell you, it is probably the most difficult part of this step because your brain wants to block you. It wants you to stay in your comfort zone. But visualizing how that goal is going to come to life has been proven to help your brain go looking for that. We have something in our brain called the reticular activating system, and that system is responsible for going out and finding what you tell it to look for. So when you are visualizing that goal and see it becoming a reality, your brain is going to go to work on actually making that happen. It is very, very powerful. I have seen the benefits of doing this myself. So, all right, are y'all ready to do a little writing together? Let's see, I'm going to change this. Okay, here we go. All right, I would like for you to get your notebook, please. And for the purpose of today, I would like for us to focus on one goal. Now, I have like a 2-year goal, or 2 years worth of goals. So I do list those all every morning. And some days I do the rest of the journaling work based on the goals in general, but sometimes I just do one of them. So I would like for you to start out and just list your goal. Just write it as a sentence. My goal is whatever, write it down. All right. You could wrap that sentence up. The next section that you're going to do is I would like for you to list 3 sentences about why this goal matters to you. Why is this goal important to you? What is going to happen when you get it? Why is it important? How is it going to change you? How it will affect others? Think about what is your why. Remember, you can write in sentences, you can just write words. It doesn't have to. This is your journal. You do it however works for you. All right, if you could finish up that one you're on. The next section that you will do is to list 3 to 5 positive thoughts you want to think that will keep you moving forward. This is a good time to search not now, but when you're doing this, you may want to search affirmations on the internet and find your own. In the worksheet, I'm going to send you the PDF. It does have some positive thinking affirmations you can borrow. So I'm going to give you one for today if you don't have your own. And that is, hold on, I had a really good one. Oh, where I'm going matters more than where I've been. Where I'm going matters more than where I've been. All right, if you could finish up that thought that you're on. And again, when you're doing this on your own, you will have lots more time or however much time you allow. For me, a lot of my thoughts are the same from day to day because they almost become like mantras for me. Okay, so that is perfectly okay. You don't need to come up with a new thought every day. As a matter of fact, there are benefits, you can think about it, to carrying those same thoughts with you because you can just keep repeating to yourself whatever your thoughts were. The other thing I want to say about this, and this is something that is kind of a little iffy about affirmations, is whatever thoughts you put down have to be believable for you. Because if you don't believe them, your subconscious at this point is going to be like, yeah, right, that's never going to happen. So make sure that the thought you think is believable to you. So, this is going to happen. Gold is going to fall from the sky. That's not going to happen. It could, But to me, that's unbelievable. So until I get to a point that I could believe something like that. Okay, so make sure that your thought is believable. Okay. The next section is your feelings. Think of maybe 3 to 5 feelings you are going to intentionally choose to feel as you do this work. And in your handout again, I have a nice list of words that you can use if you need them. So I'll just read a few of them, grab any that apply to you. Inspired, enthusiastic, bold, resourceful, calm, masterful, centered, engaged, fun, adaptable, proud, energetic, spellbound. I like that one. It's kind of magical. Secure, mindful, receptive, friendly, in the zone. Okay. The benefits of choosing how we want to feel ahead of time, well, it's really important because then we don't leave it up to chance that our brain is going to get involved and start talking us out of doing this, because we take action based on how we feel. If we're choosing to feel confident, if we're choosing to feel bold, your brain again is going to go to work finding ways to make you feel bold. Okay. The last part is that visualization part. Okay, so we're going to do this. It's only going to take just a few minutes. I would like for you to close your eyes. And I would like for you to imagine your goal. Now I would like for you to imagine that your goal has become a reality. Work backwards and figure out, what did you do to make that goal happen? Start at the end and work backwards. The steps you come up with may be very vague, and that is okay. They may be specific as well. Don't judge what comes up. When you've got it visualized, write it down. All right, and if you could finish up the line you're on. And remember, when you're doing this for yourself, you can allow yourself more time than what we just have here today, okay? It takes me, like I said, about 15 minutes. It's almost automatic for me. Like it gets quicker every day because my brain knows exactly what I want to put in each of those areas because I've told it, this is what we're doing. Okay. Questions. Anybody have any questions about that process? Anybody going to try it tomorrow morning? Yeah. Good. Good, good, good. This is just a sample of the journaling work that I do with my clients. That really, like, I love to incorporate journaling into my coaching work because of the reasons that I talked about at the beginning. There's so much hidden inside of us that we don't even know about until we sit down and kind of write about it. And some of you who've worked with me will know I am all in favor of turning to our journals in time of struggle, but also in times of celebration. So there's lots and lots to do there. If that's something you're interested in learning more about, by all means, let's get together and talk about how I can help you. Before we say goodbye today, I do have one ask for you, and that is I am planning October's Lunch and Learn workshops, and I want to make sure that they are applicable to what you guys need. So if you have 15 minutes that you can spare me in the next couple of weeks where we can sit down on Zoom or on the phone if you can't do Zoom, and just let me kind of interview you about what's going on in your world. That way I can make sure that the workshops that I'm putting on for you apply to you and are helpful to you. So I'm going to put a link in the chat, and I'll also put it in the email that I send out. If you're willing to have that conversation with me, it is not a sales call. I am not going to sell you coaching. It's just an information gathering time for me. So, all right, next week, we are talking about the true cost of not doing what you want. So maybe some interesting things that you didn't know before. So I hope you'll be back next week. Please invite a friend. We would love to share this work with anybody who's interested in learning about it. All right, everybody, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Otherwise, thank you for being here. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye, everybody.